First Sunday of the year. It's a bit of a tradition within the science of mind or the religious science movement to focus on the first chapter of the Science of Mind textbook during the month of January. And so as I prepared for my talk this week, I read through the first part of the introduction. It's titled The Thing Itself, and it's the very first part of the book. Read through that. I looked on YouTube and found talks from other ministers that have done talks on the thing itself. And did a lot of praying, a lot of meditating, and a lot of reflecting on what these teachings mean to me and how they have impacted my life. And in impacting my life, have impacted the lives of my children, my grandchildren, and my family in general. Oh, and Ben. Thank you, Ben. These are powerful teachings. They're very simple. They may come under the umbrella of New Thought, which is the movement that we as a community are affiliated with, the New Thought movement. But it's not really new at all. These teachings are really ancient wisdom. They're wisdom that have been taught since the beginning of recorded history. The ancient sages and seers and mystics, they knew the power of these teachings. So Dr. Ernest Holmes, who was the founder of Science of Mind, the author of the textbook, and a mystic in his own right, a scholar, a minister. What else was he? He was a lot of things. He was a very short man, and he was a very sturdy, stout man. And he came from back east to the Los Angeles area and started a movement there. He had no intention of it being a religion. It was more of a philosophy, a faith, and a way of life. Now, he wrote this Science of Mind book in 1926. And then over the next 10 years or so, he added to it, and it actually morphed and became a completely different book. And so the edition that we teach from here is the later edition that came out in the 30s. I can't remember the complete title of it. Anyway, the more comprehensive edition. He was a man that studied all world religions. He studied philosophies. He traveled. And he found common threads of truth throughout all of his studying. And he wove all of these truths into this teaching that he calls the Science of Mind. The science of truth. The study of truth and consciousness. And how it relates to each one of us. How we can actually embody these principles, these understandings, and do certain practices like meditation, prayer, affirmative thinking. And this actually has an impact on our world, on our life. And so it's a very practical spirituality. It is an evolution out of a Christian. He was a Christian. His father was a preacher, and so he came from a very religious family. And a lot of people back in the day, the late 1800s, had become uncomfortable with Christianity, even though Christianity was dear to them and the teachings of Jesus. That's a better way of saying it. The teachings of Jesus were were important to them. They wanted something more than mainstream Christianity. So a group of people sort of had conversations about this, wrote books about this, and this is where the New Thought movement came to life. From beings that wanted a greater connection with the divine, but they wanted it without the religiosity that the Christian church of their upbringing gave them. They evolved out of a superstitious, childlike idea of a Santa Clausy God that gave gifts to those that were good and punished those that weren't, to a greater awareness of God, a God that is everything, everywhere, omniscience, omnipresence, omnipotence, all-wise, absolute wisdom, everywhere present, including me and you, and the stars, and the dust, everything, and supremely powerful. And it's said that we're made in that image and likeness. So that gives us a great opportunity to explore our own abilities, to use our mind, our intellect, our imagination, our words, to create a better environment for ourselves. And so it's a very practical spirituality. Today when I went to print up my talk, I found that the printer ran out of ink, so I just scratched a few little notes here. So the science of mind is a study of truth and its amazing laws. So over the next few weeks, the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be diving more into the actual science, the law of the science of mind teachings. Ernest Holmes says, the way can be shown, but every individual has got to take the first step. And I think that we've all taken the first step, so to speak. We are so bound by suggestion, so hypnotized by false belief, so wound and entangled by chaotic thinking of the world. We are so confused that we are not ourselves. So wake up, is his suggestion. Now, wake up. So it's time to wake up. Are you awake? A couple of you? Kind of awake. Because I think that's why we're here, isn't it? To wake up. I think all of you in this room are here because you have a great desire to have a more meaningful relationship with this thing called life, and with people, your friends and family, and to have a deeper experience of the divine, whatever that is. Now, in the first chapter, the thing itself, Ernest Holmes uses many terms for God. The absolute, the first cause, the thing itself. Some people say, well, that's not very respectful. It's the thing itself. What he was getting at is, it's so beyond our imagining. It's really ineffable. You can't really give it a name that does it justice. So you probably, if we all got up here, if we all at the end were in our circle, and I asked everyone to go around and say a name of God, we would probably have 40 different names for the one thing that I'm talking about. Yeah, so many different names. Atman, Brahman, Krishna, Vishnu. Around the world, people have attempted to name this amazing power, this feeling, this love. Emerson said that God is synonymous with love. So what do you call it? And for those of you that are coming to the Discover class on Thursday night, we'll have a really juicy conversation about this. Because no one's wrong. We're all right because we're all a part of it. So as we get together and we talk about it, it starts to come alive. And we start to feel what it is. It's an inner journey. It's an exploration. So the science of mind really comes out of two teachings from the Bible. The Old Testament and the New Testament. From the Old Testament, it comes from the premise of, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And in the New Testament, it is done unto you as you believe. So these are the two core teachings that sort of fuel the science of mind. As a man thinketh in his heart. As you think in your heart, in a metaphysical sense, the heart is the subconscious mind. So as you think in your heart, as you feel, so are you. Now you may think in your mind one thing, but then there's those feelings of the heart that might be different than what your rational mind said. So it is that we become, whatever it is that we hold in our heart. So what is in your heart? What do you say to yourself in the quiet moments? Whatever you think about comes about. You define and describe life, and then that's how it becomes for you. You can have two people growing up in the same family that have radically different thoughts about the situation, their family, their life, but have very different ideas and experiences because of the way they perceive it. I'm going to ask someone to close the door. Those children are having so much fun. Thank you. So you might pay attention this week to the voice of the subconscious, because it creeps in when you're least expecting it. And as you begin to tune in to what that undercurrent of thought is in your life, I call it sometimes the inner monologue or the inner dialogue. Whatever that is, seems to become your experience. So pay attention. And see if there's things that you don't like that you can't change with your conscious mind. That's why we focus on affirmations and we read these spiritual books, these positive self-help and self-empowering books that we have on the book table. Because they help us remember who we really are. Not our small self, not the self that is identified with this physical reality. Not the self that feels itself to be separate from the one life, the one power, and the one presence. It reminds us, these teachings, these affirmations, they remind us, they bring us up to remember who we really are. That we are, like Reverend Mona said, individualized expressions of this one life, this one love, this one magnificence. And we have within us this amazing power, the mind. And the wonderful thing about the mind is it can be changed. Yeah? So do you like the thoughts that you're choosing? Do you like the thoughts that you're choosing? Are the quality of your thoughts high quality thoughts? Because remember, you always attract that which you're thinking about. So those judgments and those opinions that you have about your child or your spouse or your boss, they become that for you. They become that for you. So if you want to have a different relationship, a different experience, you simply choose to see things differently. When you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. Because believe it or not, we live in a friendly universe. Reality is very friendly when you come to terms with it. Byron Katie says, when you argue with reality, you lose only 100% of the time. And isn't that what we do? We may not on the outside be arguing with reality, there's that little voice. He shouldn't be doing that. If only they'd do that. If only I was 20 pounds lighter. And we argue with reality, and what we do, it becomes habituated. It's a habit. And we begin to have this inner grumbling, and then we have that experience. So we can change that. We can stop it, and we can create a more peaceful, harmonious life for ourselves. It's so simple, but it's not always that easy. Dr. Ernest Holmes says to learn how to think is to learn how to live. To learn how to think is to learn how to live. And we've been learning how to think our whole lives. We didn't realize this. It's called conditioning, programming. And we've been programmed and conditioned to think certain ways and think about certain things in certain ways. We don't have to go along with the old thoughts. We can think new thoughts and have a better experience. Yes?
Yes. Do it.
Yeah, just do it. That's why Nike must have got it. Was it you? So I'd like to close with a prayer. Dr. Ernest Holmes taught scientific prayer. And it's what we do as practitioners here. It's a 5-step process. It's a scientific prayer that's broken down into 5 parts. Recognition, unification, realization, thanksgiving, and release. And this process of prayer is it creates an inner shift in consciousness. The whole idea of prayer isn't begging and beseeching from an outside deity. It is an inner movement of consciousness. And because we live in a world of energy, of vibration, information and energy, we affect the field, the matrix, the world, by shifting our own energy. So when you hear someone like me or Mona or one of the practitioners doing a prayer, we do it inside ourselves to shift the energy about whatever it is that we may be praying for or about. And in so doing, we affect the field. We affect the greater whole. It's like the 100th monkey. Have you heard about the 100th monkey? Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was a group of scientists studying some monkeys on a remote island, and they noticed that one monkey there was a lot of dirt on the fruit, and so the monkey went down to the ocean to wash the fruit, to get the dirt off it, and ate it. And they noticed over the course of time, the other monkeys started copying this monkey. And when a certain number of monkeys started doing this, scientists at one of the neighboring islands noticed that those monkeys started doing it too. So we are connected energetically with all life. And when we start making shifts in consciousness, it affects everyone. So, that's what a prayer is. A little different than maybe what you grew up with. It's an affirming of what is, what you want, and calling in the energy and the vibration of that, activating. So, let's close our eyes. So as I turn within, I go to that place which the circumference is nowhere, and the center is everywhere. It's this thing called God, it's the thing itself. And in this place, in this field of awareness, I simply recognize there's only one life. This life is God's life. This life is my life. This life is perfect. There is only one life. This life is God's life. This life is perfect. And this life is my life now. I now align myself with the fundamental order of the universe, and I say yes to my God-given qualities and attributes. I am peace. I am abundance. I am generously sourced and supplied. All my needs are met. I have plenty to share and to spare. I am ultimate creativity. I am passionately engaged in my world, knowing that I get to choose how I spend my time and what I create and the relationships I develop. I choose love. I know that I am a powerful individual, that I have within me everything that is required to be happy, successful, peaceful. I know that within me is the ability to love beyond conditions, to love unconditionally, to show up as the very presence of love everywhere I go and at every moment. Every thought I have is infused with love. Every action I take, there's love. I know that I have the ability to use my voice, the power of my word, directing my faith and my thoughts through my words. I clearly express the truth. I am impeccable with my word, and my life reflects that. As everything moves into order and harmony, I know that I am aligned and open to absolute wisdom and intelligence. There is an infinite realm of possibilities and potentialities that is beyond my little mind's ability to conceive. So I simply open the lid and open up and say, divine wisdom, divine intelligence, use me to be a vehicle of your love. And I am awake. I am awake. I am awake to the love of God and its full expression in the world. I see through the eyes of love. I move in the currents of love. And I serve with a heart full of love and gratitude. And please join me in saying, and so it is. So that's an activation. That's a prayer. And we can do this. We do this every day. That's why in this sacred text, the Bible, they talk about praying without ceasing. We're always praying. We're always activating the field. And studying the science of mind is learning the language of the universe. Learning the language that the universe responds to. That's the law of cause and effect. Understanding the language that the universe responds to. Living in the flow. So, yay. Get in class. Join me. Join Michael. It's going to be an adventure. It's going to blow your minds. It's going to knock your socks off. So get ready. This isn't for the faint of heart. If you have any rigid beliefs, you might not want to come. Because this is going to open you up to be challenged. It's going to hold up the mirror. Any of the nonsense that you haven't looked at or healed or cleaned up, boom, there it goes. So, join me. I probably scared you all away. Okay, so I love to clap, so let's clap. All right, so we have a blessing of the offering, and you'll find that in your program. And I thank you ahead of time for your generosity and your participation in this law of circulation. It's really an opportunity for you to move into the flow of generosity that life really is. So, joyfully, I give with gratitude, for I know that as I give, I am given. I allow the abundant nature of the universe universe to flow through me now. I am so blessed.
We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. It's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. It's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
I am so blessed. I bless this offering knowing that the energy that is contained within the dollars and the cents that are in this basket that you have so generously shared here with this community, that the energy in this goes forth to bless and uplift the minds and the hearts and the spirits of countless souls. So I give thanks for this opportunity to be here, to serve this community, and look at all these wonderful young ones. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What did you guys, who would like to share, what did you learn today? Who would like to say something that you did today? What did you do? What did you do? One thing. Was there one thing that you liked about today? What did you enjoy?
Being here.
Being here. They're making friends. They're making friends and they're connecting, just like we are.
Another one.
Oh, another one. Shiloh. You're speaking. Being here. She being here too. Anyone else? Anyone else? Can you say something? What did you like about today?
I liked.
What did you like?
Trucks. Yes.
Here, I'm hoping.
I just wanted to say that all you youth that came here, the kids and the teenagers, you guys were all such good listeners with your ears and your bodies, and it was so much fun. And we practiced yoga and breathing, and even little Jet over there was amazing. And at one point they were all balancing on one leg as still as a statue, and it was awesome. So
Thank you, sir. Okay, so, you know what? Something wonderful is happening
Right now.
right now. It's this thing called growth.
It is this thing called growth.
Growth is in my mind.
Growth is in my mind.
Growth is in my heart.
Growth is in my heart.
And it's in all of my experiences.
It is